Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Derp Your Hooves. So, today I have a special treat for you, and I was waiting for a little while after Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 came out. So, here we have the Cessna Titan. I seem to like it. And, you know, it's a lot like the 414, and they fly a lot alike. So, we're already here on runway 24, and we're on the East Coast on Joint Base McGuire, just because that's what I wanted to use. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to enable our P-dot heat and landing lights on, navigation light, do our strobe light, and that should do it. Okay, and so let's just go ahead and adjust our map range, and down there, and turn the weather radar on. You might say, yeah, Pony, hey, so you have, you know, your tooltips enabled, and I'm going to say, yeah, I do. Alright, so let's go ahead and give her a notch of flaps. And oh, Pony, it's shift spacebar. Alright, parking brake off. Ease into the throttle. And let's go for a little quick flight. So, ease into the throttle. Now, I'm not so sure how well you can hear me over the aircraft. Maybe you can't hear me well at all. And maybe I should turn the cockpit sounds down. And I probably should. So there's a small little glitch. So a lot of you might say, well, Pony, is there any difference between Flight Simulator 2024 and 2020? Because, you know, there was a lot of hype behind 2024. Well, so I did get to pick my avatar. And I did get to pick my co-pilot. That's not really a difference. I'm gonna say that there's a difference in the flight model. Now, I mean, of course there is, because there's no 404 Titan in Flight Simulator 2020. But there is a 414, and they fly a lot alike. But I am feeling a difference in the flight model. And I've flown a couple of different planes. I've flown the Cessna 172. But right off the bat, I said, I want to fly one of the twin-engine planes. And I saw this, and I said, let's try it. So, during daytime flight, it's an absolute pleasure to fly. Let's bring our flaps up. And let's retract our landing lights as it noses down. Landing lights retracted. And nose up, Pony. So, I've noticed a difference in the flight model. and there is a difference in how you set up the controls. And to some extent, I've noticed an increase in frame rates, and I've even noticed that the overall graphics are pretty good. In some areas, they're a lot better than Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now, I am going to say, though, that there are some things that I'm truly hoping that we're going to be able to work on over time. Because there were some things about Flight Simulator 2020 that I know I got really spoiled with. So hey, look, we have a whole radio tower right here. So that's some of the difference in the graphics. We've got some of these really cool radio towers, and you might say, well, Pony, it's a little hazy. Why is it so hazy? Well, we're using live weather on the East Coast, so, you know, it's about 4:59 local my time, West Coast time, so it's about 7 in the morning, East Coast time. And you can even see the scratches, like the little scratches there on the glass. And I mean, the frame rate really is smooth. Now, I've also flown some of the helicopters, and there's a huge difference in the flight model and some of those too, like the CH-47. Now the CH-47 is a nice helicopter, but let's focus on what we've got here. So we've got a, you know, I mean, overall in this little Cessna Titan, it's pretty good. Now what's our altitude? Gonna bring the not too far, Pony. Maybe bring our airspeed back a little bit. So, I'm noticing a difference, a huge difference in the flight model. And yes, I have, you know, DLSS set up. I decided not to go TAA just to see if this was a thing of the past, and I guess there's a little bit of artifacting off the nose in this mode. So, but it's not as bad as it has been in 2020. Now, here's our runway here. And I'm just going to kind of keep it low and slow for this video. You might say, well, why, Pony? Well, I just want to give you a short video. So, I'm pretty impressed. And overall, the graphics themselves are pretty good. I mean, I don't have any of my old add-ons enabled, and that's something I'm going to talk about once we get down on the ground, but, I mean, this is pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and bring her back on in. And I really should actually check my MEDAR. So why don't we do that really quick? And just go, go. Up. You're rolling, Pony. Yeah. Okay, so what do we have for wind? We have wind at 240. Right. So we got wind at 240. Well, that's runway 24. So let's swing back around and land. Seeing we've got our, I don't know, our stall speed warning there, our, you know, landing gear not down, airspeed too low warning. Now, let's get this thing on the ground, and hopefully we can just do it really quick. A little bit of rudder pedal. And just make it quick and dirty, pony. There we go. So we're off, but gears down, notch of flaps. And I'm just going to try and slow her down. Now I know, don't land like this. But I do want to bring my airspeed down so I don't bounce. Alright. And I probably should have brought down the landing lights, but let's just land the plane. And maybe taxi to parking, and then we can chit-chat a little bit. Okay. Looking good. Looking good. Bring her down. Floaty. Not bad. Alright. Can I pull off the runway here and taxi? That would be ideal. Alright, we can. Flaps up. Let's get on the ground. I mean, let's get to parking. We're on the ground. So, pros and cons. Right now, the sim being a week out. So, I haven't loaded in any of my third-party scenery to see if it works. Now, I'm going to say that that's kind of a pro and a con, and I'm going to have to see if it works. I don't think it will. And I've been, you know, like for example on Facebook. I say Facebook, really? Who still goes on Facebook? Well, lots of people do. So, I've been on Facebook, and, you know, and I'm just going to say it. We've got our, you know, our internet. Some people like to call them keyboard warriors, but, you know, trolls are what trolls are. And that's what they are. And so you got your hater trolls out there, and, you know, they're like, oh, well, you know, just think of the negative comments you could imagine, and they'll post them. So, the launch did not go quite as well as I'm sure Microsoft wanted it to, and we're just going to go ahead and find any old parking. And I gotta admit, even a week after launch, and I'm just not going to do everything, the sim still has some bugs. The flight model's great on some of these planes, and it's just like when it launched the first time, and we're just going to just... Parking here is fine. Nobody's here. Alright. Let's just park it right here. So... And it was, what, 3 for fuel, 2 for fuel. So... Shut these engines down so we can hear. Those are the engines going down. Flaps are up. And there we go. Let's kill the battery. So, I mean, that's kind of a moot point, but that should have gone off. Oh, well. I shut her down improperly. Should have been magnetos first, then power. So, jokingly, you know, here, our co-pilot is missing eyebrows, and I just couldn't not go with this as my co-pilot. But we did give him some aviator glasses. So you can customize the avatars, and that's always fun. So let's go ahead and let's just exit the airplane. And I'm not going to go into all the features. And you're going to say, well, why Pony? I say, well, because that will take a long time. So you can exit the aircraft, and you can free walk. And unlike 2024, it won't let you walk through the aircraft. And if I click on the door, it's going to bring me back into the plane. But I'm not going to do that. And it even says that you can toggle the EFB. But if I go ahead and I click right there, hold on, let's bring the little hand cursor up. Let's go to the side. Come on, Sim. Oh, no? Now? Maybe now. No, not now. Yeah, there we go. Come on. My mouse is acting up. So if I click on this, look, I'll show you just so you believe me. Oh, look, it puts us back in the aircraft. And if I click on it again, it throws us outside of the plane, which is where I want to be. So, we now have our walking mode enabled, and people have been like, oh, but it's a walking simulator. See, there's our little shadow. If I try and do the external view for the little walking guy, it's not going to happen. So let's go ahead and walk around the aircraft. Do our walk around. So you can actually do your walk around on the aircraft. See? You can do your walk around. You can do things like, well, that's the baggage on the other side. Let's show the baggage on this side. That's the baggage on the other side. Baggage on this side. See, it turns blue, baggage lights up. And you have your baggage compartment, and then you have your forward baggage compartment. So that's really cool, isn't it? Right. I would say that's pretty cool. And let's go ahead and let's just walk on over to the engine. See what we can do here. Can I open any of the engine compartments? Not from that side. Can I check my engine oil? Oil cover. Hold on. Where'd it go? Right there. Oil cover. So let's go back to the oil cover side. Interesting. You can use the force again. Let's see. Shift E. No, it won't do it. So I can check the oil because, yeah, you shouldn't be able to take the cowl off. Look, oil gauge good. So there's all kinds of nifty little things that you can do on the outside of the aircraft. And again, we'll just continue to walk around. Walk through the blades. Walk around the aircraft. Turning my head as I walk. Looking at my co-pilot. Oh, we got the rear baggage door open. Again, so like in 2020, you can use the force to open and close things from far, far away. But why, Pony? Well, because you can. So, I mean, I'm looking here. The detail's pretty highly detailed. I gotta say, it looks like it's a little better than 2020. Don't you want to toggle the EFB, Pony? Fine. Let's toggle the EFB, and let's see what we get. Oh, we got flight details. We got a route. Payload, cargo, passengers. Because I didn't set up. Oh, aircraft, pilot book. Look at that. My flight hours, my settings. All this fun stuff. Cool. So, that was lots of fun. Alright, so you can toggle your EFB from outside the aircraft, and the EFB is a great little tool. But let's get back inside where it's a little more quiet. And I can just kind of go over some small things here. So I'm going to go ahead and get back in the cockpit and just kind of sit here for a second before we call it a day. So, I haven't loaded in my third-party liveries for any plane because I don't have any for this plane right now. And I haven't loaded in any of my third-party scenery to see if it works because I don't want to break the sim and then do a YouTube video on it. So go look, the sim is garbage. So I'm going to start doing that soon because I will say that that is actually one small con. Is I would like my third-party scenery because although the Asobo scenery is really good, and it is, we're still using some of the Bing graphics, and we're still getting some, yes, we are, no eyebrows, Robin Williams, getting some clumpy trees, and yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Stop shaving off your eyebrows. So, you know, like Roger Waters and Pink Floyd's The Wall, where anyways. So, I mean, internally I'm looking and it looks all nice and chipped along the cowl panel lines, like I would imagine it should be from all the maintenance. And the cabin's really nice, and we can move around the cabin and you can see the cabin textures. So there's lots of cool things. I mean, they did add more detail and the frame rate is more stable. And you can do things like, for example, we can go ahead and we can open this. And it just gets really noisy and you're not going to be able to hear Pony talk. And I know that some of you don't want to hear Pony talk, but it doesn't do much good to give you a video talking about some of this stuff if I can't talk. So, I'm going to see if I can load in some of my third-party scenery because I do like that it's a little more detailed. And you would say, well, do you really spend that much time on the ground? And I'm going to say, not always, but it's nice to have something a little more detailed than just the stock scenery and, you know, what Asobo wanted to pay attention to. Let's see. And then we have third-party aircraft. Now I'm going to do not a tutorial video. I'm going to do a video where I load in one of the third-party aircraft. And I imagine it's going to fly the exact same way that it did in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now, so there was something that was said about 2024, which is what we're in right now, that there were more points of contact on the aircraft itself and that the flight model was going to be different and you were going to get a better flight experience. Yes, I've gotten a much better flight experience out of the Cessna 404 Titan than I have in the 414. I've noticed a difference. And I've flown a couple other planes and I've noticed a difference in the responsiveness and the way it flies. I'm going to say if you are flying not in live weather, you'll have no turbulence. If you select live weather, you will get turbulence. The aircraft will bob. You can turn on a yaw dampener for the planes that have it, and it won't bob and weave. You know, not as much anyways. Now, I didn't do any night flying, and I'm just going to say that I don't think that the sim is totally ready for night flying, and there's a couple of things where I can't seem to find the adjustment knobs for the Garmin's, and they get a little glowy. There's like a halo to them. So, and you can already see that I got some issues here, like I have the battery bar turned off and I still have some radio lights on. But I'm really not going to mess with it that much. So, overall, I mean, I'd say I'd give it somewhere like 8.5 out of 10 on my expectation list. Maybe closer to a 9. I'd say closer to a 9. 9 out of 10 on my expectation list. There's still a lot of improvements that can be made. And it would be nice, and I'm going to say this totally outright, and I'm not the only one who's on the opinion of this. It would be nice if we could load in our own custom liveries into the aircraft, because I've seen that there's an option in the marketplace to buy other liveries, and hey, I think that's great. But there's a whole procedure that you have to go through to get your liveries published to the Microsoft Marketplace, and they don't let everybody publish to the Marketplace. So hopefully we get that, because, for me, I really like my custom liveries. And I understand that it could have something to do with model matching, or someone's like, hey, I can't see your livery, because it's not in there. And the other thing is that it seems that this is more of an Internet of Things based simulator. Like, all the packages, when I start up the sim, come in and download and then install themselves, which may make the sim smoother in the frame rates, because it's probably using less bandwidth. Not sure about that, but it would be nice to have our planes, have the option to have our planes totally stored locally to our hard drive, and to be able to have custom liveries, and to be able to have our custom scenery back. So those are my gripes, and again, it's just because I've been spoiled from flying 2020 and all the options that we had. But for the trade-offs of having a much smoother flight simulator and something quite a bit better, I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what changes and what tweaks they're going to make to improve it. And I guess I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's go ahead and let's zoom out to the external view and just give you the external model really quick. See, look at that. That's really cool. And let's rotate a little bit better than using our trackball mouse. There we go. Make you dizzy, make you sick. Alrighty, and we're just going to go back in. So there you have it. It's a really quick flight. It's around airport. Well, it's around a base, KWRI. I'm on the East Coast, just so we could use live weather and live time during this day. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to cut it short. I like the sim. I know not everyone else does. Looking forward to the changes, looking forward to the improvements that are going to come. And I think I'll still be flying both for right now. But I'm definitely pleased. So, as always, if you like what you saw here today, whether you find it funny, informative, or, even if you don't like my channel, I really encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to Derp Your Hooves. Subscribers, you help make the channel possible. You help make things go around. And, I'm always happy when you like and share my videos. So as always, everyone and every pony, thank you for watching Derp Your Hooves, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the skies.